everyone. Today we are back with another interview. Today we have Beth Koller with us. So thank you so much, Beth, for being here.
Thank you for the invite.
Of course. And to get things started, can you just give everyone a background on your current role and what you do?
Sure. I am a workers' compensation defense attorney based out of Florida for a nationwide firm, Gilson Daub. While I am a partner in workers' comp doing workers' compensation defense, I'm also branching out to connect and make business development within the firm. We've got a lot of states and a lot of people, and with everyone knowing each other but being spread out, I'm taking on to connect everyone so that everyone in our community can meet each other and the next generation and start the process of working together.
That's great. I love your collaboration with all the new people and existing people, and I think that's a great addition, something that's definitely needed in our industry. So, to get things started, I wanted to first ask you about some common challenges that you see maybe new insurance professionals facing or just insurance professionals in general that you think could be improved upon or talked about more.
Right. And I think you'd be remiss to not acknowledge that the insurance industry is facing a crisis. What we saw with the shooting in New York and just the general feel of insurance, whether it's health insurance, workers' comp, construction, whatever the platform may be, in the industry have issues based on perception. It's not new. It's just become more public with social media and the use of things. Means as an industry need to adapt. Can be frustrating to navigate and hard, but we need change on all levels to kind of human side to what it is we do. Knows an example, workers' comp case, it's about an injured worker, but there's someone on the other side of the phone, the adjusters, the case managers, the attorneys, the vendors. Like, we're just people too. And it's not that we are bots out to deny everything. It's following the law and the jobs and the records that we have. And so I think sometimes that human factor on the other side gets a little lost because of the overwhelming emotion that goes into any kind of insurance needs. Insurance is only there for loss and disaster. And so when we communicate with each other, the loss and disaster is felt by both sides. It's not one-sided. And I think there needs to be more human connection to understand that we're all just trying to get a better world of insurance.
Yeah, I think kind of how you said, it's so emotionally charged what we're doing because we have loss and disasters and all these things that no one wants to go through. And then we have to be there to help aid, and it doesn't put anyone in a great position to begin with.
Right. And no one wants to lose their house in a fire. And it's going to be traumatic and hard. And the people on the other end, while they're there to assist and help, they're also doing their job, and they're human too and have the emotion of, as we're all watching it on TV, you watch a movie and you cry for the characters. These claims adjusters, case managers, everyone involved in our industry is also on that side where, seeing what's happening in California, we see what happens when someone gets injured. I think there's a lot of skepticism because of fraud and bad people, and disaster release has to come up, and the first thing they tell you is like, don't buy into someone who calls you or shows up at your job site. Reach out if an attorney calls you. That's not how it's supposed to go. So I think the fact that we automatically assume fraud or assume bad actors hurts and influences what we do.
Absolutely. And then kind of going into there are, so many new professionals that maybe don't have as much experience with this kind of stuff that we deal with. How would you say mentors or people that are already existing in the industry can help those newer people develop some resilience, manage the stress that comes along with this type of job?
I think the word mentoring is probably gives like a two-way kind of street. I think we all need mentoring in that area, for resilience, for stress management, for getting through day to day. Some days obviously are more stressful than others, and you kind of have resistance if this is meant for you or not. It's not for everyone. It's not a profession that should be gone into by some people. I think if we support each other, older to younger generation, I've learned so much about balancing and resilience from younger attorneys and younger claims representatives, because generation after me kind of more of that emotional experience than my generation and before me was kind of up with. Like, it wasn't a thing. You didn't let your personal get into your life. And now that you do have more of a balance, we need to kind of work together to do that. So I think as new people are coming in, the older generation, the experienced generation, it needs to count on them too and go both ways. And so, be able to go to a mentor as much as a mentor should be able to go, oh my God, this happened to me today. Well, play it through this way. Major experience in life, as a lack of that experience in life can sometimes also be, help and build to resilience and that kind of management.
Yeah, I've even noticed in some of the previous calls we've had that people, a lot of the people we have on this podcast are mentors, but they've mentioned how much they've learned from the mentees, from the people that are reaching out to them as well. So I think that's a great point, that it's very much a two-way street and we can learn from each other. It doesn't have to be one way.
And I think sometimes we get into this thought of, I'm assigned mentee, or I'm in an organization who gives me or gives, and it shouldn't be that formal. Mentor should be someone you feel comfortable in and someone you're obligated to go to. Sometimes it builds from that start of an obligation. Two people are put together and it grows from there. But sometimes it's also just not the right fit if someone else puts it together. So, in my opinion, is a broad spectrum of everyone together, mentor and mentee each other, as opposed to just, okay, I've been assigned a mentee and I have to talk to them once a week and I have to do this. Like, make it that formal. I think sometimes, again, depending on how the relationship works, can really not improve things. And then you look back on a mentor didn't work for me, or mentee didn't work for me. Well, maybe it was just the way that it was presented as opposed to the thought process within that relationship.
Yeah. And with regards to, I love your input on things as well, because you kind of this broad, you see so many different adjusters and roles from that defense attorney position that you kind of outlook that maybe some of us kind of in the weeds of it maybe don't see as much. So I wanted to ask you, with regards to the insurance industry, what are some ways that you think maybe we can aid in getting, but then also retaining some new talent, new fresh blood to kind of supplement the amazing people that are already in this industry as well?
Yeah. I think a lot of that gets to the term marketing. You think the insurance industry isn't marketed well. And, it goes back to where we started with challenges. Got into work comp because after I graduated law school, I applied everywhere and got an interview, made a connection, and within 2 months went to WCI and thought, okay, this is a group I like. I like the camaraderie. I like the size of workers' comp. Talked to a lot of adjusters. You and I kind of this issue. And a lot of them did just graduate from college and apply for jobs, had family history or connections within the industry. I also think organizations like Claims Exchange and Claims Academy, Rise Professionals, are doing a great job at trying to be very inclusive with newer people in the industry, not necessarily age related, but just newer to the industry. We tend to want to hold conferences and seminars for ourselves because that is where we have our connections in social and have been doing this 20 something years. So to open that to the next generation and allow them to see into, it's not all just dealing with bad things. Not always because someone is injured or a fire or a construction defect like that. We have a socialization and a social group that is very attractive, and that is a reason I'm in workers comp, because I got that experience so early on in my career. It's not for everyone. People I talk to or interview from a legal standpoint who can't imagine doing administrative work because they want to be in court. They want to have trial and jury and kind of. For me, I like that I can make connections and friends and people who are now my family. For 20 something years, I've grown and known and watched them grow and watched their children grow and watch even their children get into the industry. And so I think we just need to do a better job at marketing that it's not just a job sitting at your desk denying people things. So much more to our industry, and there's so much to offer. I also think we need to go into the high schools for kids that aren't ready to go to college, that don't necessarily want to take that career path, but want, white collar job, as they call it, have the knowledge, but maybe traditional college isn't for them. So let's get them, representing claims adjusting, that insurance industry portion is for them early, so that they don't get frustrated or drop out of college and then, not being able to get into the industry. Like, get programs into the right hands so that we get the right people, and then explain or show how these people, through organizations, through podcasts and dialogues, this can be a real career and not just a job you hate to go to. It should not be that. And yeah, everyone has days, but in general, I think we're looking at a perception, and we on the inside need to kind of change that and to show what our reality is.
Yeah, it's such an interesting role because, like you said, not many people go out and say, I want to be in workers' comp, or I want to be, it's not really something that happens maybe as much as we would hope it would. But these people, out there in this realm for them, that's when, magic happens. And when we have these people really helping it grow and evolve into, even bigger than it already is.
Yeah. As much as, insurance is a big word and a big concept, we really are a small group. Either handling workers' comp or professional liability or construction. These are the people who I have now become so close with that they are not only referral sources and personal sources and friends. It's not that big, but it seems daunting to say, oh, I'm in insurance, or, oh, I do workers' comp. Such large phrases that don't really quantify all that it is.
Yeah. Great point. And to close out on everything that we talked about today, what is a piece of advice, words of wisdom that you would give someone coming into this field to kind of welcome them with open arms?
Yeah, I like to tell anyone, don't be afraid to ask. Whether it's asking for help, asking for an opportunity, asking to shadow or go with someone, or asking for a change. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, workers' comp isn't really my thing. How about if I go into personal liability, or about this realm of insurance? Look at what you're doing and where you're getting satisfaction out of that. And then how can you continue that? If you're not getting what you need out of the job, it might not be that you need to leave the insurance industry. Maybe you just need to do something else within our industry. And never be afraid to ask that. If you're in workers' comp and need defense attorneys, reach out to me. I've got a whole plethora of Gilson Daub attorneys willing to help. And honestly, through organizations, I have a whole network of people for anything that insurance people need, and trust, and have earned that trust with people to get them to the right people. So I'd say ask, reach out, talk to your peers and friends, and then get involved.
Absolutely. I think there's so many amazing people in this realm, and there's so many connections to be made and opportunities to be had. So that's a great point to end on. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.